Hey, everybody, this is Dr. Kevin McGovern with the new named Velocity RX podcast. I got rid of the game show podcast because it really wasn't branding. I needed to brand. So, same material, just really a new name. So, today's subject is unleashing your pitching potential, the Velocity RX difference. So, I have just created my online pitching course, which has been the pitching course that I have used for 20 years, rehabbing and developing pitchers to throw harder with less chance of arm injury. Two very, very simple subjects. So, um, this podcast, however, is dedicated to help save a million arms. Okay. The Tommy John and shoulder injuries are literally through the roof. And it's not only affecting pitchers, it's affecting position players, which was unheard of in my day of growing up uh, playing baseball and watching baseball all the time on TV. You never heard of an infielder or an outfielder out with Tommy John surgery. And now that is literally almost commonplace to have happen. So, this podcast is dedicated to giving the latest and greatest information on health, movement, pitching prowess to keep your son and daughter healthy from overhand throwing. And yes, girls absolutely throw overhand, not only in softball, but they play baseball too, and they pitch. Okay. So, all young adolescent pitchers, keeping them healthy, giving them proper mechanics, proper arm care information, proper health information. So, first and foremost, why is Velocity RX different? Well, I think it's different in the basics of all basics. And I have a little prop to show you, right? Everyone knows what this is. Maybe I'll get in trouble if I say it out loud, but we'll call it a building block. Everyone listening to this show, watching this show, has used this block and many of them to play with either as a young child, older child, or with their children. And we all have taken the Christmas or birthday box of them apart and opened the instructions. And then we start to try to put these together. And one thing we realize is that if we get to page 7 and we don't have block 1, the whole model has to come apart. And guess what? That's exactly what human movement is. So if we don't have a block of support and we put another block on, okay, or this block is wrong and we try to build on top of a bad base of support, our building, I can't even put these together, our building will eventually come down, right? So really, our base of support needs to be solid, right? Everyone comes in and says, I want to throw harder. I want to throw faster. Great. Show me how you move. Let's see your squat. No one can squat correctly. Oh, but I'm squatting 350 pounds. Not correctly, you're not. So if you're not moving correctly at a high level, meaning adding weight, resistance, time, energy, all you're doing is micro traumaing, if that's a word, or micro injuring your muscles. And to me, this is a precursor of why people get hurt. Okay. People get hurt because they're doing many wrong moves over and over again. And then one pitch, boom, they're hurt or they're sidelined or whatever is happening. Okay. So the Velocity RX difference, the difference of what I teach is we teach functional movement, neurologically correct functional movement first. Before we build a building, we have to have a parking garage. Okay. And yes, some of those are boring. I get it. Okay. But what makes a great athlete is their master or mastery of functional movement. Okay. So they have better sequential movement and they have better um, processes to get around their bad movement. So I want to teach young adolescent pitchers proper movement from the start, exactly how the body is supposed to move. Once those principles are down, then, okay, it's a lot easier for people to excel at pitching, at any sport for that matter. Okay. So that's the main and biggest difference. So, yes, we start at the shoulder blades, working scapular depression. We start at the lumbopelvic joint and hip joints, working squat. I have never in 30 years have seen a pitcher at any level, amateur, pro, doesn't matter, of the people that I have seen have active control of their scapular depressor muscles. Okay. When your arm lifts up, your shoulder blade should drop down. That is a kinesiological law, not a Kevin McGovern law. That's a kinesiological law. But so much of out there is what is taught with the inverted W, the T, and whatnot. We, or pitchers, accentuate their upper trap muscles. That is a shoulder and athletic killer. The upper trap muscles should be asleep. Okay, they should not be activated when we're talking about moving our shoulder above our arm above our head. We want those muscles to shut off. But 99% of the time they are on, and it's kind of like two elevators going to the top floor. There's only room for one. So that's why shoulder injuries start, and then shoulder injuries go down the kinetic chain to the elbow. Okay? How many kids, when they do a squat, bend their knees first? An absolute no-no. We need to hinge our glutes back or our pelvis back first and then bend our knees. That is a proper squat. So those are the big differences, is that you cannot be an athlete unless you learn how to move properly first, and then we can build athletic movement on top of that. So that's difference number one. Difference number two is arm care. There is a lot of noise out there about arm care. I see these crazy things about, reverse throws and long toss and all that kind of stuff. And I go back to the simple model, the neurological model. The very first picture of you, I have it. To everybody listening, I have it. Did you know I had your very first picture? Yep, because everyone looks the same. What is that very first picture? It's an ultrasound, which shows a head and a spinal cord. And our extremities grow on after, because that's the neurological system of the body. Head to spinal cord to extremities. So if you're out there cranking up your long toss, pulling your band from your hand, doing reverse throws from your hand, and not starting the movement at your trunk and your core, you're literally doing opposite of how the body is intended to move. Okay? We do a lat pull down, it starts at our core. The shoulder blade depresses, then the upper arm, then the elbow, then the hand. That is how the body is supposed to move. I do a push activity. My chest tightens, upper arm, elbow, hand. Not hand first. Okay? We have to move proximal, as close to our spine, to distal. That is a law. That's not Kevin McGovern talking. That is law. So every single one of my arm care exercises is in complete agreement and in concert with the proximal to distal law, working from the core out, where we truly generate power. Okay? Just look at the game of golf. So if velocity has increased, okay, so in concert has driving distance. Okay, that has gone through the roof. I just saw Bryson DeChambeau over the weekend hit a 4-iron 275 yards. That was Jack Nicklaus's average drive in 1986 with a driver. Okay, did Bryson DeChambeau get that way by hitting balls with his golf club? No, no. There's thousands of videos online of him working his core and turning his core as hard and as fast as he can to generate power down the shaft of his golf club. Okay? However, the velocity movement is all about arm. I see people doing these running pull downs where they fall over and the gun lights up and everyone cheers. You don't pitch like that. How many of those throws do you think are left in the body? Those, I mean, does a martial artist who is going to break a bunch of ice run into the dojo as fast as he can and smash the ice? No. He makes this unbelievably coordinated and powerful turn of his core as his arm comes down and smashes bricks or ice or whatever. It's the same move. Does the tennis player come flying into to Wimbledon, throw the ball up in the air, and do some front somersault to serve the ball? No, not at all. They're working on their core. Okay, but baseball is worked opposite, and the stuff that I see online is literally cringeworthy and sometimes shameful because there's a lot of people that know better or should know better, but they don't. Okay, if it was working, if it was working, velocity would be going up and injuries would be going down. It's not working because if velocity is going up, injuries are going up at a 10 factor. It's not even close. So whatever's happening out there for arm care is not working. It's just not because you work out for two reasons. First and foremost is to stay healthy. That's not happening. And second is to improve performance. And we can argue till the cows come home that this velocity movement isn't increasing performance because pitchers are only durable for about 3 innings. Okay. And they're certainly not durable for a full season to pitch. I mean, just look at the New York Yankees. How many pitchers did they go through this year? Starters, 8. It's insane. It's insane. Plus, they've got two star players out with Tommy John surgeries that aren't pitchers. So arm care, significantly different. And the third and final difference is my mechanics. I'm old school. Drop, drive, spin, and finish. This drifting forward, this ridiculous hip to shoulder separation. Okay, when you shift your hip, when you shift from hip to shoulder separation, what's left hanging in the breeze? Your arm. Stop any pitcher today, and you're going to see someone whose whole body is forward and their arm is hanging back. Where do you think that stress is? On your core? On the glutes? On your hamstrings? No, it's on your arm. And for anyone who tells you different is lying to you. They are using the elasticity and the potential energy that when they turn to home plate and that arm lags back, that they're getting that stretch of the pec, of the arm, of the elbow to then go as far as it can and then release like a rubber band. How many throws do you think you have in your body with those kind of mechanics? Rather than keeping your weight back, turning your core, and the last thing you do downhill with gravity is your arm moves towards home plate. Check out Mariano Rivera. Check out Fernando Valenzuela. Check out Nolan Ryan. And then compare them to every other person in the major leagues today, and you're going to see vast difference in mechanics. Okay. And those guys pitch. Nolan Ryan's pitcher was like 100. Okay. Mariano Rivera pitched until he was in his 40s, and he was throwing 93 miles an hour and striking people out. Why? Because when he let the ball go so far out in front of him, he was throwing from 50 feet, while these guys were accelerating their arm way in the back of them, throwing from 65 feet. So that 92 got on them faster. That's the definition of a heavy ball. So, enough preaching. If you want to learn how to throw correctly, you want to learn how to keep your body healthy, okay? You need to learn the Velocity RX method. It's built from a rehab first method up, okay? There's no injuries in Velocity RX. Ask these other fly-by-night places, the ones who blow up your social media, what their injury rate is. How many kids do they have out with sore arms? Okay? And these college programs that are using these systems, okay? Ask them, okay? I just came back from Montreat College in North Carolina, all right? A multitude of players using other systems than I was teaching hurt. One guy using one system from some guru that's also, I won't mention any names, but he also teaches NFL quarterbacks. He's thrown one pitch in 2 years. One. Didn't come to my seminar because he thought he knew everything. Didn't want to listen to another opinion. He's thrown one pitch in 2 years. That is not results. That is horrible, criminal, terrible, malpractice, whatever you want to say. So that's enough on my soapbox. So to get in touch with me, please, you can email me at kevin@drkevinjmcgovernpt.com. Look at my social media, my website, perfectmotionsportstherapy.com. Check out my social media, join my YouTube, sign up for my newsletter. There's a link tree in there with all kinds of signups to sign up for my Velocity RX stuff. And please, let's jump on a call. Let's talk about what your needs is. I have a program that will fit your needs, and I've got a really cool system that has financing, so it's affordable for absolutely everybody. All right, talk soon. Thanks for listening.